I went over there and I said, how does it feel? How does it feel to have somebody taking pictures of you? And then I did not speak to anyone.
And we'll have both of you, and Mr. Finley, Mr. Petey is with you. Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
he's right here, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Petey, pardon me, yeah, Mr. Petey and Ms. Bowman, both raise your right hands for me. Swear that testimony in this case to be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yep. Here, speak up. Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Bowman, say something.
Yes, I do. Sorry, my
Okay,
screen.
thank you.
Oh, there's it.
And Mr. Finley, do you have questions for Mr. Petey as to the basis for his need for a protection order?
Uh, I do, Your Honor. I'd ask the court how much detail do we need to go into here?
Well, I mean, what I read in the petition is that Ms. Bowman flips off Mr. Petey, makes false statements about him. And if you want to add something to that, go ahead with your questions to Mr. Petey.
All right, thank you. Mr. Petey, tell us about the incident with your car and Ms. Bowman.
My car had been keyed, and Miss Bowman came to my house and apologized for it and paid me for my deductible and admitted the guilt. She said that she didn't key my car. She said she actually used a claw hammer and came to my house and admitted to it.
All right, and then after that happened, was there an incident with her at a park?
Yes, so then I went to a park to have dinner with my cousin, and she walked around the park twice. On her second trip, she had started yelling at me and my company. One of the fathers from my school was right behind her and saw the whole thing, and she just trying to cause a disturbance with me and the three kids and my cousin, and we pretty much just ignored her and went about our way, and it's just nonstop harassment. She just won't let up.
How many times has she summoned you into court for restraining orders against you?
I think like 3 different times, 2 or 3 different times.
And were any of those granted?
No, they were not.
All right. And she also called your employer and said,
She apologized for everything that she had done, admitted it was all a lie, tried to take me to court again, and then the judge dismissed it because he dismissed it
okay,
prior to that a couple of weeks.
right, listen to what I'm asking. And she also called your employer and tried to get you fired.
Yes, she has.
Okay, do you remember what she said to the employer?
She said that I was a pedophile and I was stalking her kids at the bus stop, which is at the corner where I live. And I drive my son to school every single day. So when I leave for school, her kids are catching the bus at my corner.
Is there any truth to any of those allegations?
No truth at all whatsoever. I never even made eye contact with kids.
And those allegations were the basis of one of the protection orders that was denied for her.
Correct.
All right. Is there anything else you want to add here?
I'm just really tired of her harassing me. I mean, it's just nonstop. She comes and apologizes. She's even called my employer again after all this recently and accused my my secretary of having a speech impediment and her being crazy, and she just won't stop harassing. She's got on my neighbor on Facebook, all kinds of different stuff. She's actually even put signs on my street signs in front of my house, saying I'm a pedophile.
Charlie, I forgot what I wanted to ask you there. Is there, does her behavior cause you to fear for your safety?
Extremely, it does. She's actually drove through my yard twice. The cops came, she yelled at them, slammed the door in their face. Nothing happened with that. I had to get rid of my son's dog because I'm afraid that she's going to hit him. I don't let my son play in the front yard anymore because I'm afraid that she's going to try through my yard again and kill my son. My son has been losing sleep from it because he knows what's going on. He asked me what happened to our car, and I can't lie to him. And he's just really distraught and having a hard time with it. And it's affected my work. I've missed multiple days of work and she's trying to run me out of the town that I've worked in for 25 years, being a taxpaying citizen. And it's just not fair that she thinks that she could exploit the court system to try to get me away. And
All right.
it just don't seem fair.
All right, thank you. I think that should be sufficient, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Finley. Ms. Bowman, go ahead.
Yes, I would like to ask for an extension. My tribe has a free clinic tomorrow at our DuPont facility, the Cowlitz Indian Tribe, with Northwest Justice Project. And I would like to speak with an attorney. In addition, I'm also waiting for police reports and camera footage because I believe that the majority of what was just said is wrongful and false.
Okay, so
So I'm gonna be speaking with an attorney tomorrow. At 10 o'clock, I have an appointment in DuPont. And I also have police reports and camera footage that I'm waiting for.
camera footage of what?
From the city of Olympia, from the top of the light posts, from when he was following me around, videotaping me multiple days in a row. There's a lot more to this story. And I've
Okay.
tried to file 3 protection orders against him, but the protection order I tried to file when he got the attorney. I am an educator. I'm very well known in my community. I work in Native education, and I could not miss my student groups. I kept missing groups because he had not been served. And then when the judge at family court, he said that the reason I didn't accept he offered me an attorney. I did not accept it. That was my bad. I screwed up. I should have accepted the attorney. I wanted things to be over with because I chair an STI committee for my tribe. I just got my master's in elementary education. I do all kinds of things. I'm too busy to harass this man. I need an attorney because I didn't come to court last time because I couldn't. I kept showing up. He wasn't showing up. The people that were facilitating my middle school groups were getting very frustrated with me. I was getting emails from my students, Miss Bowman, where are you? And so I chose to go to my students instead of this. And this is all wrongful. There's so many falsehoods, so many. My children I have a statement from my daughter. My children have had mental issues because he has said that he wants to have sexual relations with my daughter multiple times. He's referenced it. Even after I took him to court last time for it, he did it again. I never keyed his car or whatever he said I did. I never drove through his yard. I never did any of that. These are all false accusations, and I would like legal representation.
Okay, so Mr. Petey told me that you told him that you keyed his car and that you paid for the damage.
Yeah, that never happened. That never happened. He has been making things up since I did call his work back in February to warn them of his pedophilia and what he had said and done to my daughter multiple times. And then after that, that's when everything got ugly. That's when he accused me of driving through his yard and called the police on me. That is when all this ugly stuff started happening.
Okay, so you're denying all of that. You're
All of
saying,
it. Yes, absolutely.
did you pay him for anything?
I paid him for nothing.
So didn't give him a check, you didn't give him cash, you didn't Venmo him anything. You've not given him any money at all.
No.
And how about the incident that he describes when he's at a park and you're seen walking by and he says he has a witness who'll testify that you were yelling at him?
I can tell you exactly what happened that day, sir. I am an avid walker. I have an app right here on my phone that says I've been walking around that park multiple times every day for years. I also have neighbors that are willing to give statements. I mean, you can ask anyone. That's how Mr. PD and I met, was because I'm a walker and I used to walk by his house. And I was walking around the park like I do every day, and I have never, ever seen him there. ever with his, he has a child and I've never seen him at that park. And I thought it was weird because we live a block away. What kind of parent doesn't take their kid to the park? So I'm walking around. I walk around 3 times, not two, 3 times. And the third time I was like, wait a minute. He was following me around this park, videotaping me multiple days in a row. And now he's showing up in a place that I frequent that he's never ever at. So I walked back and I took pictures and I have them. And I have pictures of his truck at the car because that was something that was against me, not me against him. And I walked back and I started taking pictures just from far away. And then he was ducking, like trying to hide from the pictures. And so I went over there and I said, how does it feel? How does it feel to have somebody taking pictures of you? And then I did not speak to anyone. I went up to him. I said, what, you've followed me around multiple days in a row, videotaping me, and now you're showing up at a place that I frequent that I have never ever seen you before. And I said, you're getting served. I will see you in court. And then I went the very next day, got a protection order. I showed up to court twice. He never showed up. And that's when my middle school groups and my students and everybody was harassing me because I was missing work. And so I chose that day, I made the mistake to not go to court and go to my students instead of going to court, which was a mistake on my part. But this man has been harassing me. Like this, everything that he's saying, he is actually doing. There's a lot of projection. There's a lot of gaslighting. Um, I I don't every time I've talked to this man, I get a different answer for the same question. Um, this man also, in addition to everything else, he's got 7 acres in Shelton with a house. He lives in a teeny tiny mold infested house surrounded by single moms that he has harassed. He's harassed so many all around, and he's got 7 acres and a house in Shelton. At his age, I'm sorry, but my dream would be to have acreage and build a. And he's got a kid. Like, why is he choosing not to live on his 7 acres that he's had his whole life with a house in Shelton, and said he's living in this teeny tiny little mold infested house instead of, I mean, to me, that just speaks volumes. A lot of things speak volumes, but anyway, that's.
And Mr. Petey, how did Ms. Bowman pay you for the damage to your car?
She came to my house to apologize because she thought to my, and she came to my front door. I opened the door. I realized it was her. And I said, you should probably just leave. That's all I said to her. She turned around and walked away. Well, I was already doing dump runs that day. So I walked around to into my house and through the house to the garage. I opened up the garage door and bam, there she was. She walked up to my garage door and I said, Laura, I thought I asked you politely to just leave. I don't want to see you ever again. Please leave me alone. And she said, I just want to make it right. Well, I used to always drive my work truck to work and I stopped doing it because of her harassment and the way she was harassing and badgering my company through the internet. So I didn't want her to think that I was working anymore. So she thought that I got fired. And she's like, I just want you to get your job back. And I was like, well, you just called Carrie 3 days ago and apologized. And Carrie played it off like she had to talk to the employer to try to get my job back. She didn't want to engage with her because she knows that she's crazy. So I said, well, what do you want? And she's like, oh, I just want you to forgive me. And I was like, Laura, when you keyed my car in November of last year, I forgave you because I don't want to carry you in my backpack. I don't hold resentment. I don't hold grudges. I just wanted to die. I just want to go away. And she's like, well, I just want you to get your job back. And I was like, well, what do you really want? And she's like, I just want you to forgive me. And I was like, well, if you want me to forgive me, tell me that everything that you've done has been a lie. And she's like, okay, I admit that I made up all this stuff and it's all a lie. And I was like, if you really want me to forgive you, you admit to me that you keyed my car. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, I did not key your car. And I said, Laura, you're a liar. You just admitted to be a liar. And I know you keyed my car because nobody else would do that. All of the neighbors love me. And she's like, I did not key your car. I used a claw hammer. And the reason why I did that is because I planned on smashing all the windows out and busted in all the fenders. And I said, oh my goodness, why would you even do that? I didn't do anything to you. And then so she says, well, I just want to make it right. And I was like, well, it's $3,700 for a paint job. but it's $500 for the deductible. And she said, oh, well, can I pay for the deductible? And I said, no, just please go away and let's just never ever talk again. She's like, I just need to make it right with you. And I said, okay, I will let you pay for the deductible and I will forgive you 100%. And you just need to stay away from me for at least 3 to 5 years. She said, okay, I'll bring the money back to your house. I said, no, I don't want you coming to my house ever again. I will meet you at your bank in 15 minutes. So we went to her bank. I got the money from her in front of multiple cameras at the bank. There's stoplight cameras, there's bank cameras, there's all kinds. And then he gave me the money. I went over to my bank and I deposited it, and then I went about our way. And then I was hoping that it'd all go away. Well, then the next thing you know, I get another Superior Court case that the judge denied her for. And I was like, what is she doing? She's trying, basically what she's doing is she knows I have a lawyer. She knows that it's costing me money. I'm a single income that has a full-time parent. She knows that I can't afford a lawyer, and what she's trying to do is make me go broke and push me out of the neighborhood. Wouldn't have done nothing wrong, but be nice to her. I haven't drove past her house in over 7 months. Since November, not one time have I drove past her house. And that's a shortcut for me to get home. I tack on a minute and a half of every single day just to get home to avoid her. And she goes out of her way to try to make contact with me. When I drive away from my house to go to the school, I have to drive by that park. I drive by that park at least 4 to 8 times a day coming back and forth from work. I completely avoid her area just to give her respect, and she cannot return that favor. And she's just relentless on trying to terrorize my life. And she thinks that I'm just going to run away and move back to my property when I'm not. That's not, I don't have to do that. I live in Olympia because it has a better school for my son, and he's already been going to school there for 2 years. And I don't want him to start. And this will be if I leave now, this will be the third school he's had to adapt to, and I don't want him to have to do that because he's doing really good in school now. So I'm just really
All right.
tired of the harassment. She's
So tell me
relentless.
what happened at the park. Ms. Bowman says that she was videotaping you and came up and spoke with you directly. You tell me what you think happened.
Your Honor, could I interject for just a minute? This was the subject of a previous restraining order brought by Ms. Bowman. And there are declarations from, I think, 2 or maybe 3 witnesses on Mr. Petey's behalf in there. If the court looks at those, I think you'll see that they're consistent with what he's going to say here, and I'll let him go ahead and answer your question now. Ms. Bowman
Okay.
didn't have any witnesses.
So she walked around, that I noticed, as I realized, she walked around the whole park, which is the city block, twice. On the second trip that I noticed that she was walking around is when she started screaming at me from the road. Well, I was at the table, as a picnic table, while my nieces were eating dinner, and my son was sitting there playing on the phone. So I didn't even have the phone in my hand. And as she's yelling at me, I told my cousin to don't even look at her. She wants us to engage. Just don't even pay attention because she won't stop. And then one of the fathers that I see every day at school was walking right up behind her and saw it and heard the whole thing. And he gave me a declaration along with my cousin that I was with, them both stating of exactly what happened. And I actually didn't even talk to her that day because I knew that there was stuff going on, and I knew that if anything I said to her, she's going to try to use against me. So I didn't even say a word to her, and because there's so many people, she walked away, but she got halfway around the park, still screaming and yelling at us. And that's how people were noticing it.
And what she's screaming and yelling.
I couldn't really hear her, but she was screaming at my truck, and I was trying to ignore her, so I couldn't really hear her because the kids were laughing and screaming at the park. So but she was taking pictures of us, videotaping us for no reason. We didn't even acknowledge her at all.
Just tell me, did you go to the bank with Mr. Petey?
No, I didn't go with him. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. You and Mr. Petey meet at a bank.
No. No,
So
no.
you
He
were at a bank, didn't hand him $5.
No.
And so he's making this up?
Yes, what happened? I did go over there to because I thought he was moving. And when I went over there, I knocked on his door and I brought this can of peach peace tea because he so told me a long time ago that he liked peach tea. So I knock on the door, he opens and he says, "You need to leave." So I go, "Okay." And I set the peach tea down and I started walking home. He comes around the corner, he opens his garage door and looks at me. So I start walking toward him and he goes, "That's not an invitation." I said, "Okay, well, why would you, I'm walking around the corner to go home and you just opened your garage door." So then he starts yelling at me about my ex-husband. He's like, "Why don't you go blah 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 like you did your ex-husband?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he said uh something about my ex-husband from a long time ago, which was a domestic violence thing that because I have a scar from it. Anyway, so we start talking and I said, "I just want to come over because this is super ugly." I said, I don't like animosity between my neighbors. I just want to just be cordial. Like we don't have to be friends, nothing. And I was there for 4 hours, Your Honor. He would not let me leave. And not like he was holding me for ransom, but he kept talking to me and talking. And he's like, "Wait, one more thing and then I'll let you go. One more thing and then I'll let you go. But wait, one more thing and then I'll let you go." And he kept telling me, he was telling even, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say this. He even told me that he's only slept with one person in the last 7 years. That's how much he was talking the whole time. I'm just saying that he's telling me all these things. And he just for 4 hours he was talking to me and I kept saying, "Well, I gotta go." And he's like, "But wait, one more thing, and then I'll let you go." Like he was absolutely did not want me to leave his premises, but I did, and I went home.
All right, thank you.
And there were neighbors, by the way, there were neighbors all over the place coming and going. It was a Sunday morning, and there's witnesses. There's tons of witnesses. We were in the yard the whole time.
How close do the two of you live together?
2 houses
Ms.
down.
Bum?
There is a little hill in between, so we cannot see each other's homes.
And Mr. Petey, if I asked you for a bank statement showing that you deposited $500 on the day you met Ms. Bowman at the bank, would it show that?
Yes, sir.
We can show it to you right
I
now.
can show it to you right now. I'm on mobile banking trying to find it. It's right here.
And what day is that?
That would have been April 14th.
And what bank?
Um, I'm at Heritage and her bank is Wells Fargo.
So were you at Wells Fargo or you took the money
I
over
met
to
her at Wells
Heritage? Where did you?
Fargo and I'm sorry, go ahead.
So which bank did you meet Ms. Bowman at?
At Wells Fargo.
And she handed you money there?
Correct.
And then you went over to your bank?
Exactly.
And how do you know it was Ms. Bowman who drove through your yard?
Because I actually was in my kitchen window and I looked over and seen her. She was that close. She did it twice. She drove through one way. I went outside and tried to see if I could talk to one of the neighbors. They said they heard a horn honking, but she thought that that was my alarm on my car being set. And then I went back on the house to try to calm down, and then she drove back through the other way. And then I have pictures of the marks, but I couldn't take a picture through the kitchen window fast enough to actually see her plate. It was all blurry. Because I had an older phone.
All right, thank you.
And then when the cops came, they went up and talked to her. She slammed the door in their face, and he came back down to talk to me. And as we were talking, she drove by again, speeding down Union Street in front of the cop. But obviously, he wasn't in with his radar, so he couldn't stop her for that. Later on that night, she came down again, yelling down, walking down the hill, yelling at me, calling me a cop, calling little. You couldn't even imagine what she was saying. But she was calling me a cop, calling little word that I prefer not to say. And so I called the cops again, and that's a part of their notes. They didn't make a report; they just took notes.
All right, thank you. All right. First of all, I'm going to deny the request for continuance in this case. It's been hard enough for the court. We've set so many hearings where there's just one party present. Having both parties present today, we're going to conduct the hearing. This matter has been before the court numerous times, both parties filing petitions. And it's clear to me looking back through the cases, which is what I was doing during the moments of silence, is that the court's approach of saying it's hard to discern between the two of you who's the one that's aggravating the situation more than the other. And that's why the court just keeps denying orders on a regular basis. And that clearly hasn't worked because we're back here again. In this case, I'm going to find that the preponderance of the weight goes to me believing Mr. Petey's side of the version or of the version of events. And so I will grant the request for protection order. Ms. Bowman, you're to have absolutely no contact with Mr. Petey at all for the next year. No contact with his son. You're not to go within 100 feet of him, his home, his vehicle, or his son. And that changed. That's similar to the temporary order that is in effect, because 1,000 feet within the neighborhood would be very problematic. So I believe 100 feet is a functional distance to assert. Mr. Petey, this order will be in effect for 1 year from today's date. If you want it renewed, you'll have to come back to court and have it renewed. A copy of the order is available in the court file for either one of you if you want to access that. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.